Physiography deals with the study of the surface features and the landforms of the earth. Plateau is an area of raised land that is flat on top. Plateaus are often by themselves with no surrounding plateaus. National Geographic describes plateaus as flat and elevated landform that rises sharply above the surrounding area on at least one side. Rising from the height of 150 meters above the river plains up to an elevation of 600 to 900 meters is the irregular triangle known as the Peninsula Plateau. Delhi Ridge in the northwest, which is an extension of Aravallis, the Raj Mahal Hills in the east, the Gir Range in the west and the Cardamom Hills in the south constitute the outer extent of the Peninsula Plateau. However, an extension of this is also seen in the northeast in the form of Shillong and Karbi Anglong Plateau. The peninsular India is made up of a series of Patlan plateaus such as the Hazaribagh Plateau, the Palamu Plateau, the Ranchi Plateau, the Malwa Plateau, the Coimbatore Plateau and the Karnataka Plateau, etc. This is one of the oldest and the most stable landmass of India. The general elevation of the plateau is from west to east, which is also proved by the pattern of the flow of the rivers. Physiographic of the peninsular India and will deal with the relief features of Peninsula Plateau. The origin of the rocks of peninsular India is more than 3,600 million years old. Before the Carboniferous period, it was part of the Gondwana land. In the opinion of geologists, during the Archean period, the Indian peninsula never subsided under the sea permanently. It was more rigid, stable and had remained almost unaffected by the mountain building forces. However, it experienced block faulting and displacement during the subsequent periods as evidenced by the Dharwad and the Gondwana formations and the fault valleys of Narmada, Tapi and the Son rivers. It was during the Carboniferous period that coal was formed in the Damodar, Son, Mahanadi and Godavari basins. During the Cretaceous period, large-scale volcanicity produced the Deccan Trap, the lava plateau of India, comprising lava sheets of several thousand meters in depth. The Deccan Trap originated about 146 million years back when the magma flowed from the depth of about 40 kilometers below the crust. Covering an area of about 16 lakh square kilometers, the peninsular upland forms the largest physiographic division of India. With a general elevation between 600 to 900 meters, the region constitutes an irregular triangle with its base lying between the Delhi Ridge and the Raj Mahal Hills and the apex formed by Kanyakumari. It is bounded by the Aravallis in the northwest, Maikal Range in the north, Hazaribagh and the Raj Mahal Hills in the northeast, the Western Ghats, the Sahyadri Mountains in the west and the Eastern Ghats in the east. The highest peak of peninsular India, Annaimudi, which is in the Nilgiris, is 2,695 meters above the sea level. According to Professor S.P. Chatterjee, he said in 1964, the peninsular uplands can be divided into following 8 macro physiographic units. Mesoregions can be identified with a division of a state. The central highlands of peninsular India include the Aravallis, the Malwa Plateau and the Vindhyan Range. The Aravallis. It's a range that runs from northeast to southwest for about 800 kilometers between Delhi, to Palanpur in Gujarat. It is one of the oldest folded mountains of the world. Being highly denuded, its highest peak is Guru Shikhar, which is only 1722 meters in height. The Aravalis are mainly composed of quartzites, gneisses and schists of the Precambrian period. Northwest of Udaipur, the Aravalis are called Jarga Hills. The Goran Ghat Pass separates Guru Shikhar from Mount Abu. The Great Boundary Fault separates the Aravalis from the Vindhyan Mountains. Next, the Malwa Plateau. It's bordered by the Aravalis in the north, the Vindhyan Range in the south and the Bundelkhand Plateau in the east. The Malwa Plateau has two drainage systems, one towards the Arabian Sea, which includes Narmada and Mahi, and another towards the Bay of Bengal, which includes Chambal, Sindh, Kain, Betwa, joining the Yamuna River. The Vindhyan Range extends from Jobat in Gujarat and Chittorgarh in Rajasthan to Sasaram in Bihar. It extends for about 1050 kilometers with general elevation between 450 to 600 meters. Apart from the Kaimur Hills in the east, the Maikal Range forms a connecting link between the Vindhyas and the Satpura Mountains. The Bundelkhand, the Vindhyanchal Plateau, it is bounded by the Yamuna River in the north, the Vindhyas in the south, the Chambal in the northwest and the Panna Ajaigarh Range in southeast. The Bundelkhand upland stretches over the districts of Banda, Hamirpur, Jalon, Jhansi and Lalitpur in UP and Datia, Tikamgarh, Chhattarpur and Panna in Madhya Pradesh. The region is characterized by senile topography. The rivers like Betwa, Dhasan and Kain have carved out steep gorges, rapids, cataracts and waterfalls. The Vindhyanchal, Bhagelkhand or the Vindhyachal Plateau. It includes the plateaus of Satna, Rewa in Madhya Pradesh and Mirzapur in UP. The elevation varies between 150 to 1200 meters with uneven relief. To the south of this lies the Narmada Son Trough, which is a rift valley characterized by Archeans and Bijwar series. South of this trough is the eastward extension of the Satpura, which is an area of radial drainage. Among the basins, Singrauli and Dudhi, 150 to 300 meters, are upper Gondwana basins, which are rich in coal deposits. Besides the Narmada and Son, this region is drained by Karmanasa, Tons, Kain and Belandre rivers. Parallel to the Vindhyans, between the Narmada and the Tapi rivers is the Satpura range. Satpura consists of Rajpipal Hills, Mahadev Hills and the Maikal range. Dhupgarh, which is 1350 meters near Panchmadi, is the highest peak of Satpura. Amarkantak, 1064 meters, is another important peak of the Satpura mountains. The Chota Nagpur Plateau sprawls over parts of West Bengal, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Odisha and northeastern part of Andhra Pradesh. This plateau has a series of meso and micro plateaus which comprise Ranchi, Hazaribagh, Singhbhum, Dhanbad, Palamu, Santhal, Pargana and Purulia districts of West Bengal. It is composed of Archean granite and gneiss rocks with patches of Dharwad which comprise of mica schist. The Damura series of the Gondwana period and the lava flow of the Cretaceous period. Moreover, the Chota Nagpur Plateau consists of plateaus at different levels of elevation. The highest general elevation of about 1100 meters in the mid-western part is known as Patlands. The rivers through which drains the Chota Nagpur Plateau are Barakar, Damodar, Subharnarekha and Koel. These rivers have carved out deep gorges, rapids, cataracts and waterfalls in the plateau region. Consisting of the Garo, Kashi, Jantia hills and the outlying Mikir and Renegma hills, it is a plateau which has been detached from the Indian peninsula by the Malda Gap. The Meghalaya plateau has a checkered evolutionary history of emergence, submergence, planation surface with several phases of erosion, sedimentation, diastrophism and intrusions. The Shillong Peak is the highest elevation with 1823 meters in the Meghalaya Plateau, while Norkik with 1515 meters is the highest peak of the Garo Hills. Mawsynram, which is 25 degrees 15 minutes north and 91 degree 44 minutes east, about 16 kilometers west of Cherrapunji, records the highest rainfall in the world. The Mikir Hills are detached from the Meghalaya Plateau and are surrounded by plains from three sides. The southern range of the Mikir Hills is known as the Renegma Hills, which are 900 meters in average. The Mikir Hills are characterized by radial drainage, with Dhansiri and Jamuna being the main rivers. The plateau of Maharashtra includes the entire state of Maharashtra except the Konkan coast and the Sahyadris. It is mainly covered by the basalt of the Cretaceous period. The basaltic sheet has a thickness of about 3 kilometers in the western parts, which diminishes towards the east and the southeast. The most striking feature of the Maharashtra plateau is the fault of 1000 meters, which gives rise to the present shoreline of Arabian Sea. Through the northern part of Maharashtra plateau flows the Tapi river from east to west. It has a gentle slope in the south and steep gradient in the north towards the Satpura Hills. The Mahanadi Basin, sprawling over the districts of Raipur, Bilaspur, Durg and Rajgarh, the Mahanadi Basin is also known as the Chhattisgarh Plain. The region is largely dominated by the Archean and the Kadapa formations. The Mahanadi River and its tributaries like Sionat, Hasdeo, Mand, Ib, Idra and Tel drain this plain. The Chhattisgarh Plain, it is bordered by a series of hills and plateaus. The northern boundary is formed by the Lomadi Plateau, the Pendra Plateau, the Churri and the Rajgarh Hills. The Korba coalfields of Chhattisgarh lie in this basin. The Gondwana formations are rich in bituminous coal, which is supplied to the Bhilai steel plant. The western rimland includes the Maikal range with crest line of 700 to 900 meters. The southern rimland includes the Dhalli and the Rajgarh Hills in the southern Durg region and the Raipur uplands in the southeastern Raipur district. The Rajhara Hill contains Dharwadian rocks in which iron ore of hematite type is found. The iron ore from the Dhalli Rajhara mines is supplied to the Bhilai steel plant. The Garjhat Hills. The Garjhat Hills are also known as the Odisha Highlands. It is bordered by the Chota Nagpur Plateau in the north, Mahanadi Basin in the west, Eastern Ghats in the south and Utkal Plains in the east. The region is mainly composed of Archean rocks like granite, gneisses and magmatic rocks. The Gondwana, Talcher, Barakar and Kamati series are also located in this region. Dandakaranya, sprawling over the Koraput and the Kalahandi districts of Odisha, Bastar district of Chhattisgarh and East Godavari, Vishakhapatnam and Srikakulam districts of Andhra Pradesh, Dandakaranya is an undulating plateau. Its Abujhar hills provide one of the richest iron ore deposits at Biladila range. It is drained by the Tel and the Udanti tributaries of Mahanadi and the Seberi and Sileru tributaries of Godavari rivers. The South Deccan consists of several plateaus. Karnataka Plateau. This plateau spans in the southwest parts state of Karnataka and the Kannur and the Kozhikode districts of Kerala. It shows dominance of Archean and Dharwad formations. This plateau has an average elevation of 600 to 900 meters. Mulangiri, which is 1913 meters, is the highest peak in Baba Budan Hills, followed by the Kudremukh, which is 1892 meters in height. The northern upland of the Karnataka plateau is known as Malnad, while the southern part is called Maidan. It is drained by the Kaveri and the Tungabhadra rivers. The Nandi Valley is the summer resort in this region. The Telangana Plateau. The plateau of Telangana consists of Dharwad and Kadapa formations. Hyderabad, the capital and the cultural city of the state, lies in Telangana. The Tamil Nadu uplands. This upland lies between the South Sahyadri and Tamil Nadu coastal plains. It is largely covered by the Archean rocks. The Charnokitics are found in the Javedi and the Chevroy hills. Moreover, there are Kadapa and alluvial formations between Coimbatore and Anaimalais. There is a broad gap known as the Palakkad Gap or the Pal Ghat, about 25 kilometers wide, through which flows the Gayatri River from east to west, joining Tamil Nadu with the coast of Kerala. The Western Ghats in Sanskrit, Sahyadris, run parallel to the western coast for about 1600 kilometers in north to south direction from mouth of Tapi River to Kanyakumari. The western slope of Sahyadri is steep while the eastern slope is gentle. These are block mountains formed due to the down wrapping of a part of land into the Arabian Sea. The Sahyadris form a watershed of peninsula. All the important rivers of the peninsular India like Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri rise from the Western Ghats. The western rivers merging into the Arabian Sea are swift. The Gersopa or the Jog Falls on the Sharavati is the highest waterfall in India. The average elevation of the Western Ghats varies between 1000 to 1300 meters. The important peaks of the Western Ghats are Kudremukh, which is 1892 meters, Pushpagiri, which is 1714 meters, Kalsubai, which is 1646 meters, and Salher, which is 1567 meters, Mahabaleshwar, which is 1438 meters, and Harishchandra, which is 1424 meters. In the Nilgiris, the eastern Ghat joins the western Ghat to form a mountain knot at Nilgiri, whose highest point is Anaimudi with 2695 meters. South of the Nilgiri lies the Pal Ghat or the Palakkad Gap. South of the Pal Ghat, the Western Ghat is known as the Annamalai Hills. Anaimudi is the highest peak of Sahyadris. This mountain is 2695 meters above the sea level. The other important passes of the Western Ghats are the Tal Ghat, Bor Ghat. Bor Ghat, it joins Mumbai with Pune, having an elevation of about 1000 meters above the sea level. The Bor Ghat joins Mumbai with Pune. It is one of the most busy passes in the Western Ghats. The frequency of trains and the commercial vehicles is enormous. Next we have the Goran Ghat. Lying to the south of the Mount Abu, it connects the city of Udaipur with Sirohi and Jalore in Rajasthan. It is about 1200 meters above the sea level. The surrounding rocks are desolate, characterized by thorny bushes and cacti. Next we have the Haldi Ghat. It is a mountain pass in the Aravalli range of Rajasthan. Situated about 40 kilometers from Udaipur, it connects Rajasmand and Pali district. The name is believed to have come from the turmeric color yellow soil. The mountain pass is historically important as the location of the historic Battle of Haldighati, which took place in 1576 between Rana Pratap Singh of Mewar and Raja Man Singh of Amber, general of the Mughal Emperor Akbar the Great. Harishchandra. The Harishchandra mountain ranges in the southern parts of Maharashtra from northwest to southeast. It stretches in the districts of Pune and Osmanabad. It is covered by the degraded forests. Jog Falls. The short westward flowing Sharavati river pours down the Western Ghats, forming one of the highest waterfalls in the world at 250 meters. Kalsubai, situated in the state of Maharashtra, it is one of the highest peaks of Western Ghats. It is 1646 meters above the sea level. Inhabited by tribal people, its forest wealth has diminished due to deforestation. Kudremukh. Situated in the state of Karnataka, the Kudremukh range, which is 1892 meters, is rich in iron ore. The iron ore is of hematite type and magnetite type. Iron ore from here is exported to Iran through the port of Mangalore. Mahabaleshwar, having an elevation of 1438 meters, is one of the most important peaks of Western Ghats. It is a religious and cultural tourist attraction for domestic and international tourists. The Nilgiri Hills. The Nilgiri Hills in the Western Ghats cover an area of about 2,500 square kilometers and rise over 2,500 meters. Udagamandalam, one of the southern India's most famous hill resorts, is located here. Palghat. Also known as the Palakkad Gap, it lies to the south of Nilgiri Hills. It has an elevation ranging from 75 to 300 meters above the sea level. The width of this gap is about 25 kilometers. It joins the state of Tamil Nadu with the seaports of Kerala. The river Gayatri flows through it from east to west. Pushpagiri. This is one of the highest peaks of Western Ghats. Its elevation is 1714 meters above the sea level. It is the abode of Dravidian tribes. The forests are, however, degraded and soil erosion is the main problem. Salher, having an elevation of 1567 meters above the sea level, the Salher peak lies between Malegaon and Nashik. It is inhabited by tribal people. Heavy deforestation has reduced its aesthetic beauty and created numerous ecological problems. Talghat. Western Ghats joins Nashik with Mumbai. Located in the Sahyadri ranges, Talghat is over 1000 meters above the sea level. The National Highway number 3 and Bhopal-Indore railway line passes through the Talghat. The Eastern Ghats form the eastern boundary of the Deccan Plateau. It is a massive outlying block of hills. The average height of the Eastern Ghats is about 600 meters. The Eastern Ghat is a series of detached hills of heterogeneous composition which are called by various local names. Between Mahanadi and Godavari, the elevation of the Eastern Ghats is about 1100 meters. The peak of Aroyakonda in Andhra Pradesh, with an elevation of 1680 meters, is the highest peak of the Eastern Ghats. Among other peaks, Devodi Munda 1598 meters, Singsa Raju 1516 meters and Neelamgiri 1515 meters. In Koraput district and Mahendragiri 1501 in Ganjam district are other important peaks. The predominant rocks of Eastern Ghats are Khondalites, metamorphosized sedimentary and Charnokites, intrusive rocks being granite. Between the Krishna river and the Chinnai are the Kondavidu, Nallamallai, Velikonda, Palkonda and Erramala ranges. Their continuation can be seen in the Sheshachalam, the Kadapa and the Anantapur districts, Javedi, Chevroy, Panchamalai, Sirumalai and Varushnad hills southwest of Madurai in Tamil Nadu. It's richly endowed with natural resources. Peninsular India has an important role in the economic development of the country. The importance of Peninsular India is mainly because of the benefits from its location and rock formations. The peninsular region of India is rich in both metallic and non-metallic minerals. Mineral ores like iron, manganese, copper, bauxite, chromium, mica, gold, silver, zinc, lead, mercury, coal, diamond, precious stones, marble, building materials and decorative stones are found in abundance in this physiographic region. About 98% of the Gondwana coal deposits of India are also found in the peninsular region. A substantial part of the peninsular India is covered by black earth or the Regur soil. The Regur soil is conducive for the successful cultivation of cotton, millets, maize, pulses, oranges and citrus fruits. Some areas of South Peninsular India are suitable for the cultivation of tea, coffee, rubber, cashew, spices, tobacco, groundnut and oil seeds. On the southern and the eastern parts of Peninsular India are large stretches of Archean, Dharwad, Kadapa and Vindhyan formations in which red, brown and laterite soils have developed over time. These soils are the basis of rural economy. The rivers flowing eastward into the Bay of Bengal make several gorges, waterfalls, rapids, cataracts which have been harnessed for the generation of hydroelectricity. The rivers originating from the Western Ghats offer great opportunity for the generation of hydel power and irrigation of agricultural crops and orchards. There are numerous hill stations and hill resorts of which Ooty, Udagamandalam, Kodaikanal and Mount Abu are the most important. Apart from teak and fuel wood, the forests of western and eastern Ghats are rich in medicinal plants. The hilly and mountainous areas of the peninsula are the abodes of many scheduled tribes. South of the Vindhyas is a predominance of Dravidian culture. The Peninsula Plateau is a tableland composed of old crystalline, igneous and metamorphic rocks. It is formed due to the breaking and drifting of the Gondwana land and thus making it a part of the oldest landmass. The plateau has broad and shallow valleys and rounded hills. This plateau consists of two broad divisions, namely the Central Highlands and the Deccan Plateau.